So, time to take you through the starting order for the third and final heat for Project E20 Junior, Senior and Masters here at Paul Fletcher International. On pole position, it's going to be Junior Jonsson and Spencer Braum alongside each other on the front row. Philip Loacker and Tomasz Ibsen will be on row number 2 with Daniel Cebula and Charlie Turner on row number 3. George Holbrook again looks to be a non-starter. This time, Thijs Dams, who was the runner-up in 2021 as a junior. Thijs Stevens, who beat him to that title, is running in junior Rotax this weekend. Victor Sundberg and, Mats Johan Overhoff is the only person that could actually twist the arm of Steve Chapman to get Craft Motorsport stickers on a Sodi kart Project E20. He starts 10th. Andreas Mattis could make it 3 for 3 and be another step closer to the title in E20 Masters. Alongside him will be Andrew Lloyd from Canada in the 725. Cameron Crockett and Niels Lilja round out row 7. Good to see the 720 from Sweden back on the grid after that nasty hit on the early part of race 2 with Gilberto Loacker and Hector Ramirez on row 8. Kaz is alongside me in the commentary box. He would have been lining up alongside Joshua Graham, who's done a very good job doing double duty. And he's in front of Harrison Whitcomb, Christopher Holst, Arthur Lorimier, Antoine Lemieux, David Plancourt and Frederic Lemieux, rounding out the 22-strong grid. So the permanent magnetic synchronous motors are switched on the minute you hit the start-stop button on the center console. Normally, where on an internal combustion engine, the fuel tank would be. There is a kill switch at the back. There is now, one of the good things about these karts is the fact you can actually engage reverse on these. That's why we were having a lot of juxtaposing in the dummy grid for Heat 2. So a little bit of a discussion going on with regards to the grid at the moment. So the flag marshal, Dan Ashton from the Trent Valley Kart Club, moves from the front of the field as we get set and ready. Red lights on the starting gantry and we are lights out and racing. Good start again by the front 2. Will Spencer Braum get past Junior Jonsson going through into the Bruno Ferrari S's? No, he does not. Tomasz Ibsen slots in behind into third position as they go up through Uncle Tyrone's banking, over the crest of the hill and towards the Litchfield Bridge. The junior E20 drivers get steeled and ready for their final race on Heats Day. As E20 Senior and Masters go through into hairpin 1. Lights are out for Project E20 Junior. And towards the outside, always a little bit of a squeeze, but the 607 of Harrison Whitcomb gets through on Joshua Graham. And they make their way through up the hill over towards the Litchfield Bridge. Meantime, E20 Seniors and Masters currently being led by Junior Jonsson as they're coming through out of the Mike Wilson complex to complete the opening lap. And the boost function, very paramount as a defensive and an attacking countermeasure. And they are going through at a rapid rate of speed as Spencer Braum right on the back bumper of Junior Jonsson going through the Bruno Ferrari S's, and he's got the switch back up the hill and takes the lead away from the Swede going through onto the Litchfield Bridge. So Spencer Braum makes it into the race lead. Just behind them is Tomasz Ibsen. Then we've also got Charlie Turner, Thijs Dams. Mats Johan Overhoff has also made some progress. He's currently up to P6 at the minute as Harrison Whitcomb leads the way ahead of Joshua Graham. Arthur Lorimier from France has been overtaken by Christopher Holst in the meantime. But Spencer Braum now still leads. Tomasz Ibsen up to second, past Junior Jonsson from Sweden, who could come under pressure very shortly from Charlie Turner. Victor Sundberg, who did not have a good first race, the main reason being the kart refused to start up. And it's quite weird for a lot of people hearing the whistling noise that accompanies E20. Bit of a battle up the hill as Tomasz Ibsen takes the race lead ahead of Spencer Braum, and I think he might have just dropped down to third place. As they come down the hill, Tomasz Ibsen is first. All Spencer Braum going towards the outside of hairpin number 1. That's opened the door. Charlie Turner and Thijs Dams have got through. There's Mats Johan Overhoff being followed by Victor Sundberg from Sweden. So this is going to be a very, very different dogfight, ladies and gentlemen. It is fully charged to the max. And I've just seen Andreas Mattis come through shots. He is not leading. Gilberto Loacker is leading, the 49-year-old from Switzerland. Father to Philip, who's also racing in this, in the 731. Currently 9th behind Daniel Cebula. But Harrison Whitcomb and Joshua Graham making a lead for the Argenti Motorsport crowd in the top 2 in E20 Junior. Tomasz Ibsen now has a lead of 0.4 of a second as we're heading into the final 3 3/4 minutes, plus an additional lap. Junior Jonsson is closing in, and he absolutely launches it up the inside of the first hairpin. Does Junior Jonsson gets through on Tomasz Ibsen. Teesdam's now third. Victor Sundberg swarming all over the back bumper of Johan Overhoff. And Daniel Cebula has got Philip Loacker from Switzerland right in tow. So Jonsson leads the way. Ibsen second. Third, Teesdams. Fourth, it's Charlie Turner. In the the thing is, sometimes the transponders do have a little bit of electrical interference, but it's been very, very marginal at best here. So Charlie Turner is running at the minute. Oh, Ibsen sideways as he went through into the Bruno Ferrari S's, past Junior Jonsson to retake the race lead. Teesdams is the Project E20 freight train in third position backwards. Behind him he's got Charlie Turner. Spencer Braun rounds out the top 5. And Charlie Turner and Spencer Braun decide to double team Teesdams, and that opens the door for Johan Overhoff, who's looking to the right, then looking to the left into the infield hairpin. So concertinaing up behind Charlie Turner, who's now third ahead of Spencer Braun through into the Fullerton S's. 2 minutes and 23 seconds still to go on the clock, plus an additional lap. Spencer Braun has taken 2 wins in this heat state so far. A 4th place will probably pretty much put him on the top end of the grid for pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. But with just over 2 minutes to go, Tomasz Ibsen leads by nearly 1.2 seconds ahead of again, it's it's 3.5 tenths ahead of Junior Jonsson from Sweden. Charlie Turner third, Spencer Braun, Teesdams, Johan Overhoff. Leading the way, Andreas Mattis now retakes the lead in the third and final heat for Masters as Jonsson towards the outside of Ibsen, trying to get the switch through the first hairpin, can't get the job done. In the meantime, Charlie Turner now behind Spencer Braun, who's got through. And again for the ride goes along Teesdams in 5th place. Into the Fullerton S's once again. In the meantime, the juniors. Harrison Whitcomb still leading. Joshua Graham by about 0.3 of a second. After 5 laps, leaders now making their way through the Mike Wilson complex. Spencer Braun could use a few more deployments of that boost button, an extra 4 kilowatts of power. Oh, massive moment there. Junior Jonsson has Tomasz Ibsen cutting across the front of him. The front axle of Jonsson went skywards, and he managed to hold on for dear life. That has brought Spencer Braun right back into the mix for the race lead. Mamma mia is all I'm going to say about that one. I have not seen anything like that happen with an E20. But Spencer Braun around the outside gets through for 2nd position. So this is really cementing his possibility of getting that ticket at the end of the weekend to go to Bahrain this year to compete for Team UK. But Tomasz Ibsen at the moment still leads. 22 seconds on the clock remains. And all 22 drivers are still circulating. Despite the massive scare and possibly change of underwear required for Sweden's Junior Jonsson after that moment. But with just 5 seconds on the timer to go, 2 laps remain. Tomasz Ibsen now has nearly a half-second advantage over Spencer Braun in the race lead. For E20 seniors in Masters, Andreas Mattis now finds himself in 12th position, and he's about 6 tenths up the road from Gilberto Loacker. But now it's going to be a case of, with the timer now expired, what's going to happen here? Who's going to go for broke? And who's going to put it all on the line? At this stage, you want to conserve the cart. Mechanical sympathy is the biggest friend you can have in karting, especially when you have karts that weigh approximately 135 to 140 kilos. And the only person that I know that has physically moved one on his own twice, Ellis Schwietzia, who's already had a mention. Thank you, Michelle, for the text message earlier on. So I know they are watching. One more lap to go in the final heats for E20. Seniors, Masters and Juniors. Tomasz Ibsen leads. Spencer Brown being closed on in by Junior Jonsson. Taze Dams rounds out the top four. Charlie Turner in fifth, ahead of Mats Johan Overhoff. Philip Loacker, in the meantime, has got past Sweden's Victor Sundberg. Here comes Taze Dams up the inside, throws it through on the inside of the Swede in the 753. And there's Charlie Turner looking towards the outside, heading into the first hairpin. Can't get the cut back yet. Can Charlie Turner, was regularly a competitor in this championship with Dan Holland racing in senior Rotax a few years ago. Still remember when him and his dad John decided to try and strike me up like a kipper, all I'm saying is pizza at Venice Marco Polo Airport when our flights were delayed. And I'm sure John's probably laughing. I can feel my ears burning right about now. But the leaders come through the Mike Wilson complex for the final time. And it is Poland's Tomasz Ibsen that wins the final heat overall. Spencer Brown with 2 wins and a second. Provisionally books his place on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. Taze Dams takes third ahead of Junior Jonsson, Charlie Turner, Mats Johan Overhoff, Philip Loacker, Victor Sundberg, Daniel Cibula and Andrew Lloyd ran at the top 10. So Cameron Crockett in 11th, Niels Lilja. Gilberto Loacker has already crossed the line, waiting for Andreas Mattis to do so, but he's dropped down the order a fair bit. So Hector Ramirez in 14th, ahead of Harrison Whitcomb, who wins Heat 3 for E20 Junior. Joshua Graham and Christopher Holst round out the top 3. Good showing by Antoine Lemieux from Canada, coached by Scott Campbell, multi-time Grand Finals qualifier in his own right, and has also been on the tools and also been in there as the media. So that just goes to show how things can change over the years. David Planko, Frederic Lemieux, and Andreas Mattis showing at the back end of the field. But whether his transponder has failed is your guess or mine. But Tomasz Ibsen takes the win in the final heat for E20 overall here at Paul Fletcher International.